Alright, so we just got out of Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Todd Phillips directed movie. This is the kind of pseudo origin of the Joker, and overall, I feel like this is a unique take on superhero movies for sure.
I don't know if it strictly follows comics.
Nope.
It doesn't.
It's like a brand new original story.
Director was Todd Phillips. He's done the Hangover movies,
Yes.
which is interesting.
Just found out this was produced by Bradley Cooper.
Oh, yeah, I did know that. I
didn't
forgot
know
about
Bradley
that.
Cooper produced
Because
it.
they work together on Hangover,
Yeah.
so I guess they're best buds.
Way to go, Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, Bradley. I
And
reckon.
the thing is that when it comes to the added effect of like what this film is really about, it's mainly a film about disabilities. Like it's being promoted as like being about violence and everything of that sort. So it's really interesting. Like the Joker definitely has PBA, which is pseudo-bulbar effect, which is a laughing disorder. Even his mother, like with her disabilities and everything, which you're led to believe throughout the entire movie is Thomas Wayne is actually the father. And, spoiler alert, huge on this one, because this got me. I said, like, from the moment that she was writing the letters, like, oh, it's clear that, like, Thomas Wayne is the father. They're going to make like them tied into Batman and everything like that. But you find out, no, it's just more of like the disability talk. Newman, what did you think about it?
I personally speaking, I went through a lot of emotions watching this. Like, you don't come out of this movie feeling one way or the other. You're kind of like, it touches on a little bit on everything. Like today, there's a lot of parallels with today's society. There's a lot of disturbing things, but Joaquin Phoenix performance, I feel like I hope he gets an Oscar nom, because it's like it's neck and neck with, I'd say, Heath Ledger, and it's just, I don't even know. There's no words. It's incredible.
He did an enormous amount of work you can feel in this movie, and a lot of preparation. Him going down to not only his acting caliber, to his mannerisms, to even his physical physique, making him look...
He lost 50 pounds.
Yeah, making him look so weak and so minuscule and such like this lanky, gawky character that you want to sympathize with, but I always felt like there was something in the back of your head where it's like you do feel bad, but there is something that's inkling inside this
You're
dude that's
waiting
like,
for the shoe to drop.
yeah.
Where's the switch that turns?
You always
it
feel
over?
like he just seems dangerous, even though when you want to feel bad for him, it's like he feels kind of dangerous.
There's so many scenes where like it's very unsettling and very unpredictable. You don't know what he's going to do.
It's a dark film. I mean, you got to think of it. I mean, it's the 70s, but yeah, it's very dark.
I wasn't sure.
Well, I mean, you got to. Time period wise, you got to be in the 70s. It's very dark. I mean, the only time we see any bright colors is pretty much when he just turns into the Joker, practically.
I noticed that the color palette changes tremendously from when you first meet Arthur as this guy.
all
Without
drab.
it's all very dark and very diluted and very just very murky colors. But you start seeing inklings of lights throughout the movie start to drape in. All the people that he idolizes are very bright, very full, very
It mirrors
in color.
the lack of drugs he's taken. If you think about it.
yeah. No, true.
Because as he's because he says he stopped taking his medication weeks ago, you can tell like the point where, oh shit, this is like the medicine stopped dumbing him down and starting to, he's noticing things.
Yeah, it's like that
It's a
gruesome
small
scene.
thing, but it's
There's
makes
a lot of
huge
small
difference.
things in this movie where you think about it and you're like, even like Curtis was saying, body language. You ever notice when he's in the beginning, he's very like hunched over.
Yeah.
He's very like, damn. You don't actually see it because Joaquin Phoenix is a tall dude.
Yeah.
And you don't really notice his full height until there's this one scene where he meets this girl. And if you ever notice, that's the only time you see him at his full height. It's when he's showing this confidence that he like stands up straight. You don't notice the lankiness as much, and almost like he gains bulk. And like even at the end when he's talking with Robert De Niro, you notice like he's standing up straight. He's got charisma. He's just kind of like nonchalant about things, and there's none of that awkward jitteriness or anything like that. I think that's a really good job they did on that.
See, my thing is, with the girl in the whole movie, I think I don't know, you talked about it, but we didn't touch on it. I feel as though like he fantasized it a little bit when he goes into her apartment. I mean, who the fuck leaves her
The door
door unlocked?
Yeah.
In the 70s,
So that whole thing was in his head.
A whole thing,
Head
because
being
they
was it-
flash back to where he's looking and he sees her, and then he looks again and she's gone.
Okay.
So that the whole time he's in the diner, she's not there.
I feel like that's the thing. The reality versus expectation really hits here, because you get to the point to where, like, not only the end of the movie, like, where, you know, you have that little scene in the middle of the movie where he's banging his head against the asylum, and it matches up perfectly with the ending, where is this whole entire movie in his head? What's the reality versus expectation for, like, what really, or sorry, in his mind, the reality versus expectation of what it really is. It was really cool because it had you on the edge of your seat, not knowing what was really going on, what was real, what was fiction.
Because the one scene, he just walks right in and starts making out with her.
Yeah. And if you ever notice, with the exception of when he opens the door the first time, she has no dialogue, except for at the hospital.
Yeah, I think the elevator scene was real.
Well, that's the only
I think
scene
that's
that
the
is
only
real.
one that's real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like people going into this, it's not a run-of-the-mill superhero movie.
I wouldn't even classify it as a
It's a very dark, realistic,
psycho
slow burn of a take on such an iconic character.
When I was watching it, that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, how would we classify this? I mean, it's a slow burn drama / thriller, because you're like, because it's slow, it's starting to burn,
almost to the point
and then
of it being born for me.
right when you hit that mid part of the movie,
definitely
that's
drama,
when it kicks
I'd
in.
say.
Yeah.
That's when you start to realize. That's when you start to actually see the mental break he starts to have, and it starts to all come together.
Yeah, and we're in a world where, like, the cliche superhero movies, where it's becoming a tired brand, personally. I feel like after Endgame and the Marvel movies in general, like, everybody's trying to do their own cinematic universe. It was nice to get taken back to a time to where there was, like, original ideas. Like, Todd Phillips, for sure, like, said he would like to make a Taxi Driver of this generation, and he gave us, you know, it's hided and clouded behind the mask of, like, it's a Joker origin movie. But clearly they don't take any cues from the comics. There's, like, little hints here and there, you know, but it's not a adaptation.
I love it. Like, I think this opens up a real. I think it opens up a really good, section
What can be
for
possible.
people. Yeah, what can be possible?
Like, they don't have to do these action comedies, these things. Like, they can expand beyond it, and it will be cross your fingers, it will be successful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's no doubt it's going to be successful. I mean, pretty much word of mouth. I mean, Warner Brothers was using a negative, what do we call it, Rotten Tomatoes. You know, they're so Marvel related, but, you know, they don't know what a real movie is. But Warner Brothers using the negative feedback.
I think.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was great.
yeah.
I thought it was great.
I'm not gonna lie. I was bored. I was ready to be like, all right, yeah, I can see what they're doing. It's nice. It's artsy, and I was really gonna be coming out here and say, yeah, I would give it like a 1 or a 2.
See,
but-
I was glued from like start to finish.
Yeah, see,
But
I was super.
that ending, the last good 40 minutes is worth.
Yeah.
The lull if you feel a lull, the lull you feel in the beginning.
It's so
definitely
built
the
up.
minute he comes out in the suit, I got chills. I was
Yeah.
like, yo,
He's
like, and like his dialogue, the way he's talking, the scene where he's on the train and he's like just causing chaos. I love
I absolutely loved the ending when he's standing on top of the car and he makes the smile with like the blood. I was like, oh, that's gonna be like an iconic scene from like years from now. But
He did such a good job. Like, being myself is a huge Batman fan. Joker definitely does have a presence. We've seen plenty of times before, but I do remember is just the only other time where I felt very uncomfortable as somebody playing with the Joker and legitimately feeling that way was with Heath Ledger. Like you're saying, like when he turned the corner and you finally saw him like standing straight up and looking like that. Yeah, I was terrified a little bit. I legitimately felt like this dude is fucking nuts. Yeah, and I was like, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker scares the fuck out of me.
yeah,
See, and Heath versus Joaquin Phoenix, personally, I feel like Heath is still a better Joker. Joaquin Phoenix did great for this role. I feel like as a movie, it's not better than Dark Knight, but definitely for just a Joker-centric movie, hands down the best. I put it as my number 3 right below Mask of Phantasm, but it's beyond like what I was expecting. I did not know what to expect when seeing Joaquin, Phoenix. I was like, Heath is number 1, so he blew my mind away.
He
he
made it his own.
legitimately does.
Like normally, I always classify my Jokers
No, yeah, he
by
totally
like
made it
certain
his own.
classes,
Yeah.
but like he made it his own.
He
Like
totally
I
did.
honestly, I could not. Normally, I always compare things to the comics, because I'm an avid comic reader, but I cannot see this Joker and pinpoint it to any one.
No,
He really made it his own. He made it stand out.
And like I think Joaquin is like notorious for like he takes a while to like say yes to a role. Like I watched an interview about it, and like he completely stands out from the pack. Like he's a completely different Joker. Just killed it.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah, because you're led on to the entire time to believe that like he's going to commit suicide. He practices it, he does the whole shooting effect thing before he gets on the show, and it takes a complete 180. I feel like his mind was then like changed in that one moment when he committed more. But that's the thing, we don't really know when he actually made that decision.
But yeah, like the whole end of the movie, dude. Like
it's phenomenal.
I mean, spoilers. Yeah. So from the talk show to the time he kills De Niro to the accident where he's now the king of Gotham, practically.
I kind of wish they ended on that shot at the end on top of the cop car.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole scene after, that's my only nitpick.
I
The
thought,
whole,
I thought that was good, but I like what they did where like he's in the he's in the asylum, and like she's
essentially
talked to him,
escapes.
and then he literally escapes with leaving bloody footprints away, and I felt like that's very like classic Joker.
I just
like
thought
he can't
like
be contained.
if they ended on the scene where he makes the bloody smile, like that would have been like a perfect ending. But
See, and that goes back to, was it all in his head?
Honestly, that would have been a perfect ending, just to end like that. Because you would have been like,
and like, can we talk about that last scene with De Niro and Joaquin going? Like, we are very privileged to see two. I mean, De Niro's an icon. Phoenix is. He's there. Like going back and forth is just a display of top-notch acting, and
Like he goes, and again the way chills, like when he can go from like looks like he has it together to immediately like going ape shit.
completely 180.
Yeah, 180. He does it so well. Even when like I got a little bit afraid when they're in the back room right before he's about to go on.
Yep.
He was like, "Oh, can you call me Joker?" Like you did. Yeah. And he's like, he gets that like fucking cowl, like that scowl on his face, and he's just like you did.
Even
when you
the
called me it out on
scene-
TV.
Even the scene when his coworkers come back to his apartment, you see him put the scissors in his pocket, but when he actually kills the guy, you're like terrified.
Yeah.
Like you can kind of see it coming.
It's a cool mix of
but
like
it's like-
premeditated and like
Yeah.
frantic.
Yeah, I think that's the one Joker moment for me, when he's like, when the midget is in there and he locks the door before both enter the room. So it's like, did he plan this the entire time? He even does that little like scare jump tactic where you don't know. That's the thing about the Joker, he's unpredictable.
At the
And, like,
same time,
yeah,
because
sporadic
the murder
and,
was
like,
so
it's so
brutal,
violent.
But
Yeah.
like you knew ahead of time someone was gonna die.
The R rating definitely helped.
He's so
this Joker
violent.
too.
but it was that death that just, it's like, you saw how quick it was too. He
Yeah.
killed him, and then it was like,
I'm
night
okay.
and day. He was asleep.
Even
and then
like
he woke up.
Even like when the what's the proper word? Little person goes to leave the door and he can't reach the lock. You're like panicking because you're like, oh my god, is Joker gonna kill him too? Like what the
I
hell?
was like, oh shit, he did that on purpose.
Yeah, he did that on purpose.
Yeah,
I was like, he definitely did that on purpose.
he
And then,
probably
like,
did.
Spoiler, he lets him down. I'm like, oh, all right.
That's
No,
why you
that's what
always have to be nice to the weird guy.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, I like having that feeling where it's like you don't know if he did it on
It's
purpose
uneasy.
or not,
Yeah.
or you don't know if like he legitimately was just like, oh, well, something my bad. And it's like you were always nice to me. Goodbye.
Or like
Kisses
just
him on the head.
A
He's
lot
like,
of stuff that they leave is open ended. Like for instance, I swear in my mind he killed the supposed love interest and her kid.
I don't know.
I think he did.
We don't get any indication. Of that.
You don't, but like he looks at her, he's already.
kinda glad
he's-
they left
He
that
just killed his
open,
mom,
though.
right? And he's already in that mode where like he doesn't care anymore.
Yeah.
And I feel like when he looks at her and just goes,
God, just the
essentially just saying like, what's the point? You're gonna die anyway.
Even the subway killings, that was like
Yeah.
brutal, like
Jesus.
brutal.
That
It
first,
was out of nowhere.
that was
too.
the
like-
first kill, like the first shot.
Oh
Bam.
my
Yeah.
god! And then the guy like got away, and he gets him on the steps. It's just, it's like it's weird. Like you were saying, it's like you feel for him, you're sympathetic because he is getting picked on, he's getting beat up, but then it's like he's doing awful things, like
And it's
he's
like-
killing.
It makes
them.
you conflicted, and it
Yeah.
almost puts you in the same position as he is, where
oh.
it's like it's confliction.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's like they just did a really good job. The sets were great.
I love the camera work. There's all
Yeah.
the slow mo shots of like him walking through the crowded train with all the clown masks. Like that was really well done. Even like when he just like places it into the garbage, how the camera kind of like just focus. Like it's just the little. They got all the little things like perfect.
This is definitely a movie where it's like multiple watches will reveal more, and it's definitely a movie that where you can pick it apart and see what the director and the writer were probably trying to do. I mean, obviously there's things that's like the stairs where he's like logging up the stairs a few times. You
How it
keep seeing that
becomes a
shot.
burden for him.
And it becomes a burden for him, and it's like supposed to be like a rendition of his life. How it's
Yeah.
like just very murky, but when he comes back down and he's dancing,
Yeah.
And it's
coming down the
daylight.
stairs-
too.
and it's
I
daylight.
just realized that. Like every time before
Yeah.
that, when he walked up the steps, it was
was
like
night.
dusk or like night. But like
Yeah.
when he's coming down, it's all bright
And
and,
it's like
sunny.
once he starts killing, he
It's
gets
like once he
happier,
embraces
or he gets like more.
And it's funny because he says that he's like, I'm tired of feeling bad for what people are telling me to feel bad about. He's like, it's all subjective. It's like,
Yeah, that whole thing at the end was just it's eerily like I know there was like some controversy about this movie because of like shootings and blah blah blah, but like it's the stuff he says at the end is like so true. Like mentally ill people kind of get like oh, that's not a real thing,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
screw you. And then
There's so much commentary.
there's
to this
a
movie.
lot of today's commentary.
And
in this.
it's the social commentary that really did it for me, that made it one of my favorite films of the year.
You said there was a guy in our theater who walked out, right?
Yeah, there was literally after Joaquin Phoenix shoots Robert De Niro, there was a guy that's a few rows in front of us. He stormed out of there. I was the only one who noticed it, but I think he just was like, I don't know, maybe it just was too much for him. He like had enough. He was sitting by himself and he just like dipped, and
That was,
I was like, oh shit.
I didn't notice that.
That's like one of the first walkouts I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
This is definitely. I'm pretty sure we're probably towards the end, but I think this is definitely a milestone within quote unquote comic book movies. And if DC takes this route more, I feel it could be a big, massive jump for them if they do it right.
right,
Joker here, in my opinion, doesn't deserve a sequel.
let it die.
Just let it be it. Like,
And I don't
just
think-
let it be that movie.
20 years from now.
I don't think Joaquin Phoenix is the type of actor who's gonna want to
No.
like
And I hope
do
not.
the same of
He does.
same
He does a
role.
lot of like single.
Yeah.
But I think this stands on its own, and it needs to be what it is, and like an alternate story, timeline, universe. It makes you feel uneasy. It's a drama, and it's dark, and it's like I loved it. It's this surrealist type shit.
I agree. I feel like Todd Phillips originally, when he was doing this, didn't include that scene with like Thomas and Martha Wayne being shot by Warner Brothers. Was like, hey, the potential that it could be a sequel kind of opens up the door if that could happen. Personally, you can take that scene out of the film and it still works. But you can tell that like Warner Brothers was like, well, we should add this just on the off chance, especially with the rumors saying that the Batman might be connected. Like, it's just, I feel like, again, as its own piece, it's better.
Shit,
And
and I
I-
was like, so good.
I do love how the main focus was obviously on Joker, but they still tied in the Batman kind of
That was great.
storyline.
That was great.
So it does leave the door open
And
for
I love how-
maybe something like that.
Indirectly now, Joker is responsible for creating Batman.
yeah.
Because the Jack Nicholson one, he kills the parents.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
But in this one, it's just a random.
Just a
thug.
random
And
guy.
in the comics,
Yeah.
it was I think
Joe
Joe Chill.
Chill.
Joe Chill that kills the parents.
Who did it in the Dark Knight ones? Just another random.
Just a
Just
random,
random.
guy.
There was,
Yeah,
like,
they
no
never.
big
They never.
reveal.
They say within the Dark Knight films that Christian Bale knows who it is,
Yeah.
but he would never stoop down to that level.
Like even the scene when he goes to Wayne Manor or whatever, and I saw the little kid and I instantly thought, I'm like, is that Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne? And then 5 seconds later, he's
What's your name? Oh, he goes down the pole. I was like, oh, the bat pole.
Yeah.
Is that what that is? Was that supposed to be Alfred? Maybe. Was that supposed to be Alfred?
It's supposed to be Alfred, yeah.
That was what I
Yeah.
was getting.
Should we do favorite scenes or?
I mean, it's tough.
Yeah, favorite scene, hands down, the midget scene, where that's just pure on Joker right there.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it
we're all
is.
gonna say
For
the same
me,
thing.
I have to say it has to be that elevator scene. Just when he's in full like Joker regalia,
yeah.
I gotta chill, man. I don't know what it was, the imagery or psychological, whatever it is. I felt it. I felt like, all right, this is at that point in the movie, I was like, this.
It's like
is
when he
what-
arrived.
the whole beginning. Like this makes it for me for the movie.
I say for me, it is hard. I think just the whole ending, the whole talk show at the end, like that whole entire scene was just like epic. On so many, there is so much tension building. You're on the edge of your seat. There's just like doesn't get much better acting than that. It's just like you're glued. You can't look away. You're just sucked in. For me, it's that, and I also love the little person scene after he kills the like that was just like it was so many. It was like fun. It was like funny, but like you felt bad like to laugh, but it was like so like disturbing.
The
Like
elevator scene.
The elevator, man.
Mine is the stairs when he's full Joker costume. I mean, granted, the song's not the best song in the world. The one,
Yeah,
No,
I
it
thought the
wasn't.
song
No.
was
The song was a little.
but
Bring the Clowns
if you
or-
no, not that
No,
song.
Bring the Clowns was in the
Rock and
trailer.
Roll Part 2, the Hay song.
Part two.
But just all in all, that song, you know, you're pumped. You're like, yeah, here we go. And then all of a sudden, you see the two cops at the top, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the hell's going to happen? And then he just starts running.
He runs a lot in this movie.
right.
Just saying, he runs a lot in this
It's hard,
movie.
yeah. That's why he's so skinny.
My favorite. It's hard for me to pick a favorite scene. It really is because there's bits and moments where I really do like, and it really envelops the whole character as a whole. But I guess maybe one of my favorite scenes is the green room scene right before he goes on the Murray show. Like that was really like a defining like the whole like what a bit where he's like, "Can you call me Joker?" like he did on TV. It was like because that was like his final like hurrah. I felt like, but also. Honestly, yeah, I've been thinking about it ever since the trailer when he like first like dons like the green hair and he comes around the corner and he's like fixes the suit and he like walks down and he's got this like macho like attitude about him and it was fucking awesome. Like but the kills were good, but I was like I don't know, him defined as more of a character is the ones that like I think of more than most.
I love the train scene was another one of my favorites where like he's running from the cops and he's indirectly causing all this chaos that causes him to escape. I felt like that was just very spot
I think
on.
they filmed some of this in Patterson, New Jersey.
Yeah, Newark.
Oh,
Yeah,
Newark, okay.
And I think maybe Patterson, but a lot of it was filmed in Newark.
Shout out New Jersey.
Yeah. They had to go to Newark to be like, that's the shittiest place.
Yeah, seriously, Patterson and Newark. Oh, they're both pretty
It's
bad.
gonna look like a shithole.
Yeah, what's going to look like a shithole on camera? Newark.
All right, so I guess we'll do final reviews here,
Yeah,
final score.
Yeah, final score.
I'm gonna give it a 4, just flat out. I don't even need to explain it really.
Yeah, it's a 4 out of 4 for me. I can watch it again.
Like I said, originally I was gonna give it a 1, but
That's so hard.
it's 1 borderline 2. But that final like 40 minutes of the movie, dude, like cinches it for me to make it.
40 minutes did it for you.
Wow, that's the
That's-
biggest
yeah,
shot.
that's a big-
You were
no,
1 to
like,
4.
I'm gonna tell people like
40 minutes.
if you love like the Joker mythos, this is a great movie like all together. If you're kind of like just all right, yeah, you're a fan and you're like
It's
looking,
definitely
it's
not-
definitely a slow burn, but it's so
It's
fucking
worth
worth
it.
it.
It's not for the casual. Like if you're thinking this is like the comical
No.
Joker, like you're at the wrong movie.
It's but that burn is definitely worth the reveal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm giving it a 4.
So, if you guys have seen The Joker and you're listening to this podcast, you know that there's a couple scenes in the movie that bend the forms of reality. And one of these tricks is the fact that I was able to edit myself into the podcast.
Really? Not the raccoon, man.
So yeah, we're recording. It's me, Curtis, Angel, Bucky, and Jarrett's gonna do his part later.
So before we get to the final scores, let's see what the guys were going to think that I was going to give it.
Are you gonna be the Jared?
No, I'm not gonna be the Jared. You think I'm gonna be the Jared? I love the movie. I'm 4 out of 4 with me, bro. If I can go over the 4, I would go over the 4.
Can we guess what Jared's gonna give it?
Jared's gonna give it a 2.
2.5.
2. I think he's gonna give
I'd
it a
say
2.
He
hold.
said he's gonna go. I just didn't do it for me.
You always know
enough Spider-Man.
you always know he's gonna give the low score. He's like, what did you think of the movie? It's like you always know it's gonna be like a 2 or a 1. Fuck him.
I think he'll give it a 3.5 just because he hates 4s.
Funny enough, I'm actually going to give it a 4 out of 4 stars. I even put this higher than Avengers Endgame just because, I felt like The Joker was a better constructed film. The lighting, the cinematography, it was hands down great. But until next time, we're out.